All right, we're not going to let you know what Steve Robertson said about the Masters and Augusta National when we called him to have him on the show, but we will talk Hail State sports with Hail State insider Steve Robertson, the Boneyard podcast, and Gene's Page 247 Sports. Steve, when's the next Dog Pile, the book on the national championship? When's the next Dog Pile book signing?
It'll be this Saturday from 10 to 12:30 at the Lodge. So everybody headed up to start Vegas this weekend can swing by and see my smiling face. So that'll be 10 to 12:30.
All right.
Saturday at the Lodge.
So let's talk about what happened Sunday against Arkansas in a game that Mississippi State desperately needed with Jackson Fristow, and then. Was there any takeaway for you on Tuesday night with the way Mikey Tepper threw and Casey Hunt? Because those are three guys that have to factor in, I think, in some way, shape, or form for them to have any kind of successful season. Your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'll say is, Mississippi State played a better baseball team this weekend. I mean, there's a reason Arkansas is number 2 in the country, and I ran the numbers yesterday, and I think they're kind of surprising in many respects. I mean, based on the social media narrative, Tennessee in the last 10 games, Tennessee's 10-0, right? They've won 20 in a row. That's low hanging fruit, right? Arkansas is 8-2, Mississippi State 7-3, third best record in the SEC over the last 10. And you had to get that one because not just because it's an SEC game, Bo, but Arkansas has had Mississippi State's number. Yes, they win the series. They do. But you snap an 8-game losing streak to a divisional rival that has really kind of been the measuring stick in the SEC West the last couple of years. And you can say, well, State won a national championship, and that's true. And, we have these discussions, where people say, well, an Arkansas fans will say, we had the better season. And my counter to that is that we play the regular season for one reason and one reason only. It's to seed the tournament. And then we have a tournament. And at the end of that tournament, we crown a national champion. And so the team that wins the national championship has the best season. No matter what else, what other, factors you want to put in or metrics you want to use to measure things by, the team that wins it, wins it. But I think it's an important milestone for this team to kind of get over that hump, and hopefully it'll give them some confidence kind of moving forward. And they had every opportunity to quit Sunday. They could have said, you know what, it's just not our weekend. These guys always tend to have our number. But Luke Hancock and Jackson Fristow and Tanner Leggett and others said, you know what, this game counts. So we're going to go try to win the ball game, and they did. And I do feel like Mikey Tepper's getting better. I mean, you look at the last, week to 10 days, Tepper and Fristow have been very, very good. And I don't know that you could have said that 2 weeks ago. I don't know that you could have truly counted on those guys. But if memory serves me correct, Fristow's now put together 8 consecutive scoreless appearances. I believe that's correct. My numbers kind of run together after a while. But, yeah, you need Casey Hunt to get better. He's had 3 appearances in a week, and every one of them has been better. Now, they're not high-stress innings. He's not going into a situation where the game's still on the line. But, getting him back could be huge, and then getting Mikey Tepper up to form really adds, a shot of energy to a bullpen that's really struggled this year.
How do you think they may use Jackson Fristow if he has turned the corner and he has looked good as of late? He's a Team USA guy. They feel like he's got all the talent and skills. How do you think they'll use him? Will he go into some kind of long relief role, which Cohen and Lamonis have tapped into at times over the last decade or so? Or do you think they would love to push him into that Saturday role, Steve?
Well, I think now that you finally have him rolling, maybe you don't want to tinker too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like he goes to Memphis and was outstanding, and then he has his best performance of the season against Arkansas on Sunday. And so it's like, okay, now we're getting him in these short bursts, and he's able to perform. Earlier in the year, they had him as a midweek starter, and, he really struggled to miss bats. I mean, he had a decent outing against Arkansas Pine Bluff, and all due respect to the Golden Lions, you could probably have pulled the kid out of the stands and had a decent performance against those guys. But, to do it against Arkansas, against a team had all the momentum, I think says a lot. So I think you leave him where he is. I mean, does that mean that, Casey Hunt becomes a factor? Parker Stinnett absolutely melted in that ball game Saturday. I mean, can you trust that guy? And here's the thing, too, that I'll tell you about that, Bo, is when I was seated in the press box, directly in front of me is the young man that is facilitating the TrackMan software. And so you can see what TrackMan says is a ball, what TrackMan says is a strike. And it wasn't like, Parker Stinnett was dealing with a tight zone. He just simply wasn't throwing strikes. And so, I think Lemonis has some decisions to make. I don't know if I'm quite ready, though, to say, hey, let's put Fristow back in a starting role, because then all of a sudden you remove what you have right now on the back end. It's a guy that's shown some reliability here the last couple of weeks of being a potential closer. So I think maybe you leave him where he is.
Okay, so I haven't seen an announcement. Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. What do you think they do on Saturday against LSU?
Man, that is a tremendous question. Do you move Cade Smith up to Saturday, and do you kind of Johnny Holstaff it on Sunday? I just don't know what Chris is thinking right now. And we kind of broached that topic on Tuesday night, and he goes, we just don't know yet. We just don't know what we're going to do or how we're going to do it. But Stinnett at times has been very good, and there are times that he's been very, very, very poor. It's that simple. There's a lot of wide range with his ability, but if you're getting back on track, that's important. But at this point, based on what we saw last weekend, I just don't know if you can trust him on the weekend. And you lose that ball game Friday, and you put a guy out there Saturday that's not going to throw strikes. You really put your backs against the wall trying to win a series that you absolutely have to have.
And you're confident that Preston Johnson has solidified the Friday night role?
For now. We saw last year, Christian was the guy on Friday and Bednar on Saturday, and they flipped them in the postseason, and so I don't know when you make that move, if you make the move. And the thing you begin to ask yourself, too, is, do you really want to mess with Cade Smith? I mean, he's been your most consistent guy. So you put him on Friday, and now all of a sudden, it's a 2-1, 3-1 type ball game, because offensively State has been so poor against Friday night pitching. It's almost like you're wasting the quality of that start. And so I think I keep him on Sunday, or perhaps move him to Saturday. But I don't think I move Cade Smith to Friday. And I think Preston's a guy, too. We're kind of asking him to do a job that he didn't sign on for. He was expected to be the first guy in the bullpen. Now, due to some injuries, he's your Friday night guy. And he has been good at times, and other times he hadn't been quite so good. But, I won't be the least bit surprised if we find out he's going on Friday. I think, with this LSU team, he's the guy that could have some success, provided he doesn't walk people.
Okay. Let's go to the plate, and Luke Hancock is heating up, and they need, all the help they can get there. What does that mean for Lemonis and Gotra?
Well, the first thing I'll tell you is, Luke Hancock is a professional hitter. I don't think people fully appreciate how good he is at pitch, recognition. He's just a guy that doesn't strike out very often. And to be quite honest with you, the punch out that he had on Sunday against Arkansas was, according to TrackMan, was about a ball and a half off the plate and down, And so when he strikes out, it's kind of a rarity. But Arkansas, I thought, had a good plan against him to really jam him inside. I thought Connor Nolan did a really good job mixing the curveball and the slider inside the left-handers, and really tied him and Hunter Hines and Kellum Clark up. But, Luke, in many respects, is kind of the heart and soul of this team. He's the guy that's going to hit three holes, so he's going to see breaking balls. And I know people always, hey, let's move Hunter Hines here. I don't know if you want a freshman hitting three-hole in the SEC. I think that's asking a little bit too much. And so, Luke is a guy that on-base percentage has been really good. Now, all of a sudden, he's made some adjustments mechanically. And that was one thing that I asked him on Tuesday is, beginning of the year, it seemed like he was dipping a little bit, like his backside would sag. And so as a result, the trajectory of that bat is upward, and he was popping up a lot. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I noticed that my hands weren't high enough. I wasn't keeping my hands high. So now all of a sudden, he's hitting line drives, and line drives turned into home runs. And so that's huge for State to kind of get him going. 4 home runs in the last 3 games. Obviously, you can't keep that pace up. But the fact that you've got the hammer back in the order and he's more likely to get a hit now than not, bodes well for the offense.
How do you handicap the Mississippi State LSU series?
I got State taking 2 out of 3. LSU is so bad defensively, and that has been, and at Arizona, of course, they were known to be a very offensive team to hit the ball around the yard. So he kind of trades defense for offense. I don't think that trade has gone the way he had hoped this year. They've even moved K. Doty at times to shortstop to kind of shore up that infield. I guess Cranfield took some reps there at short against Grambling earlier this week. And so they're struggling to field the baseball. And so when you've got a team like Mississippi, perhaps LSU can give you a little bit. Pitching's been a bit of an adventure for them too. The main thing State's got to do is keep those guys in the yard. It's as simple as that. You don't walk people and you keep them in the yard. You're going to win the weekend and certainly win the ball game. But I think that's where State has to look at this thing. Is this is an LSU team that is still somewhat vulnerable. But if you go out there and you play kind of loose and fast with the strike zone like Florida did, you're going to get beat. And so the stress really in my mind is not on the State offense, but on the State pitching staff. They've got to go out there and throw strikes. And when you look at all the free passes from the weekend ago, Scott Foxhall's got to figure out who he can trust to go out there and throw competitive pitches and keep LSU from just, walking the ballpark the whole ball game. And that's when I go back to that meltdown on Saturday. It seemed like it didn't matter who you tried it out there, but once they got a little separation, I thought some of the younger guys stepped up and did a good job. But you got to do it when the game is on the line.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, Bo? It's like when you're down 7, 8, 9 runs, there's no pressure on you. You just go out there and throw strikes and work on your breaking ball and change speeds a little bit or whatever. It's a much different deal when it's a one-run ball game, and that's what State's got to really demonstrate is that they can maintain the game where it is and hold it in place with that bullpen until the offense gets caught up.
Steve Robertson, 247 Sports, genespage.com, and the Boneyard Podcast on the Corona Premier guest line. We'll wrap it up with this, Steve. We'll go to Hail State football. I can't remember how many practices they are in, but what's the buzz, or if there is any, coming out of spring football for Leach and his team?
Well, if memory serves me correct, I think today is number 7. I think that's right. You still got plenty of practices left, but they're pitching and catching it pretty well. I mean, that's the thing I look at too. It's you lose Makai Polk and he's ultra productive, and do you have some guys that can pick up that slack? I don't know if one guy does it. I think it's more of a by committee approach, but I think the offensive skill is there, and the one time that I've been out there, and I'll be out there again today, is watching that offensive line with so many missing pieces and new pieces out there that they kind of struggle a little bit with motion. You know what I mean? It's like if people just line up and try to get after you and run base, they do pretty well. But all of a sudden, when there's twists and stunts and things like that, you've got some guys that are still figuring out the communication piece. And so, and you expect that in spring practice. I mean, Cole Smith's not playing, Dollar Bill's not playing. Those guys are still rehabilitating, and then you've got brand new left tackle and a brand new right tackle. So I don't think there's any problems that are atypical for a team that's offensive line is somewhat under development and in transition. But I think these corners can be really, really, really good. I think the Cambrion Richardson has taken a big jump, and I think that he realizes that it's his time. He's kind of bided his time, waited for his opportunity, and I think that time is now. And I've spoken with Darcelman Bath a little bit, and he believes this might be the deepest that his group has been since he's been here. And I think that bodes really well because a lot of people think, well, with Martin Emerson moving on, they're not going to be as good in pass defense. And I don't know if you've got anybody of that same ability, but I think when you've got better depth, you don't have to play that frontline guy as many snaps because, Martin Emerson played more defensive snaps than anybody on the roster the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And so, I think that's one of the things you look at and probably bodes well in his NFL interviews. This is the guy that's got the stamina and the reliability to play a ton of snaps. And, in the NFL, that's kind of what they do. You go with your guys, and I think Martin's a guy that'll do really well. I had to tell me yesterday he won't make it out of second round, and I think that's probably the best you could hope for. I think we all thought probably third or fourth round, but now he's starting to get some second round grades, and that's pretty significant. Would be really big for Mississippi State.
We'll leave it there. Steve Robertson, Boneyard Podcast, 247 Sports on the Corona Premier guest line as MSU gets ready to host LSU for a 3-game series. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate it, man.
See you.
All right, Steve Robertson on the Corona Premier guest line. It'll be interesting to see what happens on that Saturday starter. You know, Bianco and Lamonis are both kind of still weighing, you know, all kinds of options and, I guess, scenarios, even as we march into April, as far as what you want to do.
The difference is Ole Miss didn't lose a pitcher this year.
Right.
Which is kind of weird that they have this void of pitching talent or ready-to-play pitching talent. I'm not going to say they don't have pitching talent. That's not the right way to phrase it. But ready to contribute Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do it well.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be there, which is kind of weird.
And DeLucia has come out of maybe not come out of nowhere, but he's, you know, pitched very well. Interesting. And Ole Miss hosts Bama.
You got to win 2, but really you probably need to make up that sweep from Tennessee by sweeping Alabama.
Yeah.
That could steal you that game on Sunday, like what Mississippi State was able to get against Arkansas. If you had gotten that against Tennessee, how much again, we talked about that. Just that one game swing can move you from tied for 4th to 2nd, in the SEC right now. You can make that up somewhat, not entirely, but a little bit by sweeping Alabama.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears here to wrap up the show. It's Thursday. The weekend starts on Thursday. You're excited. I'm excited. Show's brought to you by the Premium Cigars at Havana Smoke Shop. Enjoy the patio and the deck area or wherever you go this weekend. The Masters, we're watching Tiger Woods, Blake, on the driving range, getting ready for a 10:04 Central Time tee off. And there's Justin Thomas behind him. I guess they're inseparable. Havana Smoke Shop for all your premium cigars for the Masters. Mudbugs, best crawfish in the state of Mississippi. Blake, we've got National Beer Day, and we're giving away a Corona Premier golf bag that is so good looking.
Yes.
Accurate. It's really, really, really good looking. Tell our listeners how, because they have throughout the day, tell our listeners how they can enter to possibly win this Corona Premier golf bag.
Go to Twitter, search @BowBounds. That's our page. You need to follow @BowBounds, and then you need to retweet and like that pinned tweet. It's pretty easy. It says giveaway. It's got a giant Corona picture on it. It's pretty easy to follow. You can do that on Twitter, and then you can go to Facebook, search the Out of Bounds Show, and you can follow the page. You're going to need to do that. And then also you can like and share that pinned post on the Facebook page. So search the Out of Bounds Show on Facebook, search @BowBounds on Twitter, follow the pages, retweet the giveaway tweets or share the giveaway posts. That's 2 ways to enter, so you got 2 chances to win.
I like it.
2's better than 1. It's just simple math for you right there.
2 is better than 1. There we go. Twitter @BowBounds, Facebook search the Out of Bounds Show. Tiger Woods wearing pink today, and 14 months removed from a terrible car accident. He will be playing Augusta National.
You know what I noticed watching him?
What?
He's stiff.
He is.
Everything he's doing is slow and stiff and upright. Was it delusional of Tiger to say he could win it when he was asked that?
Maybe, but you're right. He looks somewhat uncomfortable, and I hope that's not the case. I hope he's okay, and I hope that he makes the cut and actually finishes, relative. What do you think? Top 20 would be unbelievable.
If he finishes top 20, it'll be a miracle.
Okay.
No way. Making the cut is a win, not to Tiger, but to the golf world.
Right. It is for ESPN and CBS, right? Of course, it's already a win. Just this whole week for the Golf Channel.
The hours, the eyeballs alone today and tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh,
man.
Yeah. The Golf Channel and ESPN and CBS this week, just the fact that he's been the talk of the town and the talk of sports, and knowing that he is going to play Thursday and Friday, is he looks, am I reading too much into this?
What? How stiff he looks?
Just, I get, though, he's taking it easy, I guess.
It's
somewhat.
also colder, so that can affect you.
Yeah. All right.
Again, at the end of the day, as long as you can walk it, it doesn't matter what you look like walking. All that really matters is what you do when you stand over the ball.
Right.
And according to everyone who's played with him this week, he's still hitting the ball incredibly well.
Yeah.
Now, what will be interesting to see is let's say he makes the cut, does his striking ability get worse as it goes because he's getting more fatigued?
So what you're saying is going into Saturday,
let's say he makes it.
Does the wear and tear start to really get, if he makes it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. He needs to tuck in a shirt. He usually looks, well, I'm just saying, I mean, the guy looks really sharp.
It is tucked in. It's tucked in. It's just a little baggy from swinging.
Yeah.
But it's tucked in.
Well, hopefully he'll redo that before it's bothering me a little bit.
I think he's just trying to make sure he doesn't die. He's trying to get through 2 rounds and not fall apart.
Okay. Speaking of Augusta National and the Masters and all this sports this weekend, I want to talk a little bit for 1 second about Long Branch Bourbon and Wild Turkey 101. There's this great ad in Whiskey Advocate, Matthew McConaughey sipping on some Wild Turkey 101 bourbon. And the tagline is real bourbon, no apologies. Ryan is a smart guy on our Ag Up Equipment text line. And he said, Wild Turkey 101 can go pound for pound with other bourbons, triple the cost. It's hands down my favorite daily sipper. Ryan, you're a smart man. When we get some Wild Turkey merch and swag, which is on the way, you will be a recipient of something in the box. 1, 2, enjoy a old-fashioned or, a Wild Turkey 101 old-fashioned or Manhattan over the weekend. Does it look like I'm going to win with my picks over you?
No chance.
And show me the money?
I'm taking it home.
I have John Rahm, Cameron Smith, and Brooks Koepka.
That's right. No favorite has won it since 05. That's John Rahm. But I took a back-to-back, and no back-to-back has won it since 01-02, and that was Tiger.
Yeah.
So Tiger, the last favorite to win it, and the last to repeat as back-to-back champion at Augusta. So,
Woo.
Yeah. The question is, what flavor pie do you want me to put in your face when I win?
I was thinking about Cameron Smith, who's got the mullet. He looks like he runs a meth lab in Fort Walton Beach. Kind of where I dropped off my car that time that scared the you-know-what out of me in Fort Walton Beach. Have a great day. All right? Enjoy some Salad Mookie's wings, some crawfish from Mudbugs, or maybe smash some charbroiled oysters from Drago's Seafood Restaurant and Oyster Bar. Don't forget that our Masters coverage is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road and Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. See you.